A Tokyo-based research lab just released a model that doesn't answer your questions itself.
It just figures out which other AI should, and that might be the biggest idea of the week. We're starting there. I'm Milo.
I'm Mila.
And this is AI Daily.
Stick around because our third story today is about how AI is getting so good at discovering new drugs, it's accidentally creating a brand new problem for the pharmaceutical industry.
Okay, let's start in Tokyo. This morning, the AI research lab Sakana AI officially launched a new commercial model called Fugu, but it's not a traditional large language model.
Right, it's not designed to be the single best at reasoning or coding or writing. Fugu is an orchestration model. You send it one prompt through a standard API, and behind the scenes, Fugu assembles a team of other models to solve it.
Exactly. It's a model that runs other models. Sakana's research papers, which were presented at ICLR this year, describe a system that learns to act as a coordinator. It assigns roles like thinker, worker, and verifier to different AI models in its pool, depending on the task. So for a complex coding problem, it might route the logic part to one model, the actual code generation to another, and then use a third to check the work.
And the user doesn't see any of that complexity. They just get a single synthesized answer back. The really interesting part is that this coordinator model was trained with reinforcement learning to figure out the best ways for the agents to collaborate. It's not just a simple router, it's a trained project manager.
And the benchmark results they've released are competitive. On the SWE Bench Pro, a software engineering test, their top-tier Fugu Ultra model reportedly scores a 73.7. That puts it ahead of the scores Anthropic and OpenAI have reported for their flagship models, Opus 4.8 and GPT 5.5.
The business angle here is just as interesting as the tech. Sakana is positioning Fugu as a way to get frontier-level performance without relying on a single provider, which they argue reduces the risk of being impacted by things like export controls.
It also lets customers control the agent pool. If a company has a policy against using a specific model or provider for data privacy reasons, they can exclude it from Fugu's roster.
So the open question is whether the future of AI capability is one giant monolithic model or a system that's expert at managing a network of specialized ones. Sakana is making a very direct bet on the network. Meanwhile, in Brussels, the European Parliament just approved several amendments to the EU AI Act, and the biggest change is about timing.
They're pushing back the deadlines. The original timeline was already seen as aggressive. Now, the obligations for most standalone, high-risk AI systems won't apply until December of 2027. And for AI systems embedded as safety components in other products, the deadline is now August 2028.
The stated reason is to ensure that the necessary technical standards and support structures are actually in place before the rules are enforced. It's a pragmatic acknowledgement that getting this right is complicated for both regulators and the industry.
And it's not just the high-risk systems. The requirement for watermarking AI-generated content has also been delayed to December of 2026, so there's a bit more breathing room across the board.
But not for everything. The Parliament also introduced a specific and immediate ban on one category of AI, systems that generate non-consensual, intimate, or sexually explicit images, so-called nudifier apps. Providers aren't allowed to place these systems on the EU market, period. The deadline for companies to comply with this specific ban is December 2nd of this year.
That's a much faster and more targeted intervention. It carves out a specific, recognized harm and addresses it directly, without waiting for the broader high-risk framework to come into effect.
It separates the abstract architectural risks of future AI from the concrete in-the-wild harms happening with current generation models. The question now is how this split timeline will play out. Does it give companies the room they need to build proper compliance, or does it just delay the inevitable scramble?
Now for that story on drug discovery. For the last couple of years, the big promise of AI in medicine has been its ability to massively accelerate the search for new drug candidates. And by all accounts, it's working.
It's working almost too well. An article in The Scientist today points to a growing challenge in the field. AI is identifying so many novel, complex molecules that it's creating a bottleneck downstream. The discovery phase is getting faster, but the development phase, formulating the actual stable manufacturable drug, is not.
That's the core of it. Generative AI platforms are optimized to find molecules that are potent and selective for a specific disease target. But as a MedCity news piece from yesterday highlights, they aren't necessarily optimized for developability. The candidates they surface are often more complex, with issues like poor solubility or stability that make them hard to turn into a pill you can actually produce at scale.
So the AI finds a potential key, but it's a weirdly shaped key that's difficult to physically manufacture. That means the real bottleneck in bringing a new drug to market hasn't been solved, it's just been shifted.
And it creates a new data problem.
The author and the scientist argues that the root cause is a reproducibility crisis in biology itself. AI models are being trained on massive amounts of biological data from published literature, but researchers themselves often don't fully trust that data. If the foundational data is inconsistent, the AI will learn and amplify those inconsistencies.
Saying that out loud makes it sound fragile. It feels like building a skyscraper on a foundation you haven't fully inspected.
The proposed solution is interesting, though. The argument is to use AI to fix the problem it's highlighting, by having AI systems help plan experiments and generate the high-quality, standardized, and validated datasets that are currently missing.
So turn the AI from just a discovery engine into a quality control engine for its own training data. It's a strange loop. First, AI speeds up science. Then it gets so fast it breaks the next step in the process. And the proposed fix is more AI.
Also in AI today.
Runway just released Gen 4, a new image-to-video model focused on more realistic motion and better character consistency.
French AI company Mistral is reportedly in talks to raise new funding at a valuation of around 20 billion euros, with plans to build out its own data centers.
And in the UK, Lloyds Banking Group announced it's hiring 300 new tech specialists to expand its work in artificial intelligence.
So after a week of watching orchestration models like Sakana's Fugu, the question is what a model even is anymore.
Is it the thing with the knowledge or the thing that knows where to find it?
We'll see who answers first.